G'day, wonderful listeners. This is episode 82 of Trev's Talk, and I'm your host, Trev. Last week, I left off talking about giving talks to small groups to break down my nervousness, and in a few days, I will be doing just that. I have a talk scheduled with a Catenian group in another part of our city of Perth. I mentioned it before when I spoke of getting a carpooled ride at night because I no longer like night driving. The new bright white lights on cars tend to dazzle me and I worry I might run off the road or something. Anyway, that's happening in a few days' time, so I will podcast about it in next week's episode. My case of heavy cold or flu has dissipated, so I've booked an appointment with a dame doctor for a medical class 2 clearance to fly, as was suggested to me by the complex cases manager at CASA, which I told you about recently. That is going to make me more anxious than doing public speaking to the Catenians group I just spoke of. I am worried that my anxiety might raise my blood pressure to a level the dame doctor may not like and cause her to block my Class 2 medical. I guess I must put my faith in the fact that my 3 special dreams about flying say I must pass my flying test, so to do that I must pass a Class 2 medical at some point, and hopefully that point is in a few days when I keep my appointment. More about this medical next episode. I've got the books of the Medjugorje Centre ready for and handed to our volunteer auditor to check on our honest record keeping. When I gave him the books, he said he should have the audit completed within a week, so they will be ready for the board's inspection when our AGM takes place in September. Our book work is slowly increasing because we get involved in more projects like the Moorditj Scholarship Fund. I love having a volunteer auditor as he does the job on a pro bono basis, whereas if we had a paid auditor, it would cost the charity quite a few dollars. And as you know, I like to keep the charity as low cost as possible. I keep the charity focused on helping charitable causes with every dollar the charity gets in. The Medjugorje Centre pays no wages, rent or admin costs, and that is rare for any charity. The Little Christian Church group in Bellevue, a nearby suburb, I've been delivering frozen meals to every Wednesday for 2 years, are now really friendly toward me. So I took the bit between my teeth and asked their leader, named John, how could I get a meeting with someone in their organisation who might like to join my project that helps with the education of young Aboriginal students. John said he can't commit his group to anything, but he would give me contact details for someone who could, and later that day he sent me a text message with a name, Andrew, and his email address. So I thought there is no time like the present and fired off an email to Andrew with a little bit of information, hopefully attractive to him, about our Aboriginal education project and inviting him to give me a short appointment to discuss it. Only a short time later, I received an email from him to say he would be happy to oblige with a meeting, but it would have to be in a few weeks' time, as he was very shortly flying out to Uganda. Now I took that as encouraging, so emailed him to say I would make contact again later when he returned. The name of Andrew and John's organisation is Hands and Feet, so I Google searched them to find they are a pretty big organisation with little churches dotted around the city. Reaching out to them might gain me another group interested in becoming a co-founder, not to the Aboriginal school I've already covered with co-founders, but to one of the 4 surrounding schools. Mr. Freeman, the Aboriginal schools principal, has indicated that he will talk to the other principals in this area to see if they would like to involve their schools in our scholarship project. So, I am going to see if I can entice more organisations in our area to become co-founders. Any set of 4 co-founders will cover the Moorditj Scholarship Fund for one whole school. And I am thinking it a good idea to involve smaller church groups, not just the big ones. The organisation Hands and Feet fits nicely into that way of thought. I have mentioned before that it could be a good idea to try and set up the Moorditj Scholarship Fund in other states, but after giving it lots of thought, I've decided to concentrate in our local area first. It will be easier to set up other schools close by, because setting up interstate requires costly travel if we approach interstate schools, whereas if we build up the number of local schools first, we will have a great record here in Perth and therefore have good examples to show any interstate prospective co-founders. There are 4 schools with large cohorts of Aboriginal students surrounding our Middle Swan Aboriginal School, and if we can get them all involved, we will have a cluster of schools in our area. Then we can try and set up another cluster of schools in the Balga area, as there are several schools fairly close to each other there, and they also have large cohorts of Aboriginal students. If we should be successful with all that, then we would have a wonderful record of examples to show prospective schools and co-founders in other states. Well now, wonderful listeners, you can see how I am looking ahead with quiet enthusiasm. I have high hopes for the future, but I also have a nagging worry about the Salvos fully committing to co-founding our very first school. The Moorditj Noongar Community College in Middle Swan, our very own local Aboriginal school. I worry because my high-level contact for the Salvos, Chelsea, has not got back to me from my last email to her. It took a long time for the Catholic Church to fully commit, but they did get there eventually, so I can only hope something similar will happen with the Salvos. I desperately want the Salvos to come on board, as it makes a perfect co-founder group for establishing the original Scholarship Fund. 2 great Christian churches and 2 great Christian charities uniting to confront one of Australia's deepest social injustices, the suffering endured by our Aboriginal brothers and sisters. What a powerful ecumenical statement that is, when Anglicans, Catholics, Salvos and Vinnies collaborate. 4 mighty Christian organisations coming together for a great common cause. A collaboration like this also shows the organisations involved how it is more powerful to unite sometimes to fight a social injustice rather than fight a social injustice alone. If these 4 co-founders, Anglican, Catholic, Salvos and Vinnies, do good by coming together on the Aboriginal social injustice issue, then they might be able to do another powerful collaboration on that other social issue, the homeless. Christians changing the world for the better. Well, wonderful listeners, hopefully you can see it only takes a small adjustment in behaviour to make big changes in our society. The world needs the different Christian groups to come together and lead the way for the rest of the world. We need good leadership, and if we can't get it from our politicians, then we need our Christian leaders to stand up. Imagine the media coverage if all Christian leaders spoke as one body. I would love to see that. Anyway, that's it for this week. Catch you again next week. This is Trev, tuning out